sunset leather handbag. This is a great pattern, Holly. So there's the bottom. You know, it's a boxed corner. It is this one is made out of probably 1.3 millimeter leather, and it is a raw edge. It smells so good. And then you have a nice pocket on the outside. But it is raw edge. This is got 2 layers of leather, but on the inside it's raw. Now you could line it if you wanted, but it's a good size. It's a little bigger than a Louis, I would say. And it's just got a shoulder strap. So it's perfect. I love it. So this is leather. This one is my first one, and I did it at a vinyl because when you use leather, you always want to test. And so this one was made out of vinyl. It's a little more slouchy, but it works perfectly as well. It's raw edge on the inside. And it's got the pocket on the back as well. This one has a 1-inch adjustable crossbody strap, but this is much more slouchy than this 1.3 millimeter leather. Oh my gosh, you guys. These both will be available on my website. Obviously this is leather, so it'll be substantially more. Very nice. Very nice. It's a great pattern. Thanks, Holly, for allowing me to do your launch video. So let's get started. Hi, everyone. This is Barbie with Jeannie's Designs, and I'm getting ready to do a launch video for Purses by Holly, and it is the Sunset Leather Handbag. It's intended to be made out of leather. This one I am going to do out of leather, but my tester I did out of vinyl. This is just a fairly lightweight vinyl. If you don't mind a slouchy bag, it's absolutely fine. But this is it out of vinyl. Now, this feels like leather. There's a pocket on the back. And then it's a raw edge on the inside. And it's got a little bitty gusset, you can see. It's a good size bag. Now, the things that I did on this one that I won't do on the leather one is I didn't have any corset rings. And I do have corset rings now, so I just did regular 3/4 inch D-rings. It's not big enough a bag to have this type of a connector, I don't think. And then I did a 1-inch strap, not necessary either. But it's a very cute bag. Very cute, Holly. So this one I am doing out of leather. So I always, when I'm doing a release video, I always will do a tester, usually out of something that isn't quite as expensive. And so, as we know, leather is expensive. So this one I'm doing out of black leather. Now, I'm doing 2 shoulder straps, and I'm just going to fold them over so the one side will have a raw edge. And they're going to be 1/2 inch. All right. So those are the straps. This is the bottom reinforcement piece on the inside. And this is the main body piece that gets folded up, and then it creates the flap. Love it. The flap gets a stabilizer piece, so that's piece C. And then piece D is the pocket. Now, there are 2 other little pieces that she says to use webbing or something like that. I'm just using more vinyl. So I have 2 pieces for that. That's it. I am using silver hardware, black thread. So I do have corset rings, and that's what these are. If you've never seen a corset ring, I got these from Nicole at I'll think of it. I can't think of her website, but her name's Nicole. She does all cork. What's her name? I'll think of it. But this is a corset ring. So it gets attached with a rivet. So that's what I am going to use. And then I'm using 2 1/2-inch Sonar. Nicole at Sonar. I don't know why that left me. 2 1/2-inch swivel clasp and 2 1/2-inch. I brought out 2 D-rings, but I don't think I'll need those. And then I'll need a fair amount of rivets, actually. So I'll grab me some of my silver rivets. That's it. That bag took me less than an hour to make. So it's a very quick sew. Now, when you're using leather, you do need to use cement. And I didn't have any. I had some, actually, but it was all dried up. So I ordered some new cement, water-based. I'm not going to use the solvent type because it's very toxic. So I'm using the water-based, so it should be here tomorrow. So I'm going to start the bag and do all I can. You could use glue. I probably wouldn't with leather. I'm not a big leather maker, but so if you are, you may say, I would only use cement on leather. You could use heat and bond. I am going to stitch over things, but I'm waiting to do it the right way. So, all right, let's get started with what we can. All right, so the first thing I'm going to do is my straps. And I am going to use double-sided tape just to hold them together while I stitch them. And I'll tell you what I did mine, what measurement I used. These are 25.5. And I think they're about the same. Let me see. Yep, 25.5. And I did that mainly because that was a straight edge of my leather. So, I don't really like wasting leather. I'm pretty new to leather, so let's see. I got this piece of leather. It was on sale at Tandy Leather in Tampa. So, let me turn this around. So I am just putting the raw edges together, and I would say this is about a 1.3, 1.4 millimeter width. Holly recommends anywhere from a 1.2 millimeter to 1.8 for this bag. You do not want it to be slouchy, according to her pattern, unless you like slouchy bags. You know, some people do. And so to make it that way, you need something that's got some substance to it. So once I get these together, I will stitch down the open side, and then I'll decide if I'm going to stitch down the other side. I haven't actually decided that yet. Take your time here. I mean, this is leather. Oh, Jackie's out there barking. She must be getting some apple. Tony plays a game with her with the apple. She loves it. Loves it. She's a 12-year-old girl, but she still likes to play. Oh, I should go get it and show you. Tony went to Sam's, you know, our bi-weekly for stuff at Sam's, and they had a lamb chop toy for dogs. Now she and Kendall each had a little lamb chop, little thing, toy. Wait till you see this lamb chop. I'll go get it and show it to you. It's massive. It was $9. It's almost as big as she is. She loves it. So I'm trying to be very careful and get my raw edges right together. So it's taking me a little time. It's okay. Oh, this came apart. Okay, let's get this stitched. And I'm doing a stitch length of 5 down the raw edge. I'm making sure my, there we go. I am going to go down the other side. Here's what I'm worried about. I want to make sure my rivets stay away from my stitching. So they will. You hear that knocking? Yeah, very good. You just want to leave enough room between your stitches to put rivets. That's what I was worried about. Okay. Yeah, I missed that a little bit, and so I'm just going to go back over it. Yeah, I don't like that, but I'm just gonna have to make a new one because I missed a bunch of them for some reason. Okay. Actually, it's not bad. But I will make a new one. But for the purposes of this, just go slow and make sure that your sides are even so that you're not missing it on one side or the other, okay? Going to even up my edges here. All right. Let's do the other one, and I'll be a little more careful here. Let's see. Yeah. Now come down the folded edge. I ran out of bobbin. That's okay. You won't be able to tell. I can't even tell where I stopped. Oh, it's right there. Okay. This one looks a lot better than the other one, so I will redo the other one. You don't want to, that's one thing with leather. If you take your stitches out, it's going to leave holes. So there's no ripping anything out and redoing it. At least that's my experience. Now, I am not the expert on leather. But these look really pretty good. I'm kind of surprised. Okay. All right, let's get our hardware. And we're just going to add this for the clasps. And a rivet right there on both ends. And actually, I only need one of these now that I think about it. It's one shoulder strap orb. Huh. Good, because this will be the good one. How about that? So you need one shoulder strap. I love it. Oh dear, the rain is coming in. I can see it. All right, let me get my rivet. All right, so the next step is to put our strap anchors on, or at least cut our hole for them. I think that, and that's on the pattern piece where they go. And I don't think, yeah, they're not going to be in the way. So these are just tiny little corset rings. I'm assuming they'll be big enough. Oh, I didn't get my cap. So that's how they go. They're just like that. Excuse me, there's not much to them. Let me get the other part of the corset. Ring of the cap. They're kind of like tiny double cap rivets is what they are. And I am gonna put a very tiny additional piece of leather there. So I'm gonna just cut Let me cut a tiny little circle. All right, I don't even know if you're going to be able to see this. I'll hold it with my little tweezers. But that's how tiny of a little washer I'm putting on the back here between my corset ring and my double cap rivet to give it a little added strength. That's all it needs. I know, it's there's not much to it. But you don't want something that's going to be seen either, so that black on black won't be seen. Okay. I'll put the other one on, put my extremely tiny little washer, and then my cap, and then I'll go press these. They're so tiny. So that's what you should have. Now, when you press them, just make sure that they're both going upright. Okay, I'll go press them. All right, so those are pressed. They're not going anywhere, especially since I put a little extra, and you can't even see the little extra piece that I put behind there. It's great. All right, next step. All right, so the next step is I'm gonna put my tag on the front here, the flap. And I will add, this is gonna be covered underneath, so I will add a piece of Decaville. It's probably not necessary, but it's gonna be, you're not gonna be able to see it, so I think it'll be fine. Just be careful that you're not making your slits too big. And I think I dropped my washer down here. Let me find it. Make sure that when you put it on, it's right side up for when your flap comes down. Okay. And what I mean by that is the flap's gonna come like this. Okay, let's turn that over. Trim this up a little. Put our little piece of Decaville or Lux Fuse, whatever you have handy. Pound that nice and flat. And I'm going to use a piece of fusible fleece. Very handy. Again, you're going to cover this with another piece of leather so it won't be seen. So you probably don't even need to do that because this is leather. I didn't think about that, but try not. It's okay. All right, so there you go. So we have our 2 corset rings and your tag. And now I am going to put my snap here as well. And let me just see where she says to put the snap, and I'll be right back. All right, so we can't do the snap yet until we get our glue to put this on, this back piece on. So we're just going to set that aside for now. And we're going to do our pocket. Let me find my pieces. All right, so I'm going to use another piece of leather instead of webbing. I may regret that, I don't know yet. But for the top of my pocket on the wrong side, we're going to lay our, it's kind of a supporting piece right along the top. You don't want it showing from the front, but so you can't see that it's there, but it is. So we're going to do 2 rows of stitches there. And then when we put it on, we'll add some rivets. Between our stitches. I need to work on my posy pin. It's making an awful lot of noise. Okay, and then I'm going to do a 1/4 inch from that first row, so I have room to put rivets. Perfect. Perfect. Okay. Burn any threads that you have. Okay, so there you have it. Now I will add a couple holes for rivets after I get it stitched on. So we're going to do the same thing on this end. So here's our flap. We're going to do the same thing on this end. This one, you definitely want to keep it out of your seam, because you're going to have a seam here. The pocket isn't as big of a deal. This one is. So I'm about a little more than a 1/4 inch from each side. Yeah, perfect. So number one, you can't see it from there except for right here, maybe just a hair. And there it is. It's a stabilizing piece. That's really all that is. All right, let's do 2 rows of stitches there. So same thing. One is 1/8 of an inch. And the next one will be 1/4 of an inch. Okay. It's a nice top stitching. It's just, you know, you guys may be really familiar with working with leather. I have made 2 full bags with leather. That's it. So there you go. That's nice. That looks really good, actually. So we can go ahead and put our pocket on, I suppose. I'm going to find my center on the bottom and just mark it with my leather pen so I can wipe it off. And we're going to add this. Let me read, hold on. All right, so from this straight edge here, we're going to measure up what she tells you to in the pattern. And we're going to center our pocket. And if you want, that looks a little over, let's see. I'm just gonna eyeball it and then I'm gonna measure over. To make sure it's even. Perfect. Now, I'm going to use these little things called Sew Tights. They're little magnets. That keep things in place where you can't pin them. They're beautiful. Just beautiful. All right, so I think that is still good. I don't think it moved. Let's just check it. Perfect. Okay, now we're gonna do stitching all the way around. Okay. Those Sew Tight magnets, they're very strong. So that's what it looks like on that side. And then you just pick them up and you put them back together. And I just have them on my cart over here. It's a beautiful thing. All right, I might do another row of stitching. Let me think about it. Hold on. All right, I'm not doing a second row. It'll be fine, but I am putting my rivets here on each corner between my stitches. You don't want to put a hole through any stitches. And these, I'm not too worried about putting any stabilizer. There, all right, let me go press those. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and use my glue instead of waiting for the cement, because for this piece, and actually my other one, I am gonna top stitch them. If I wasn't sewing them closed, I would wait. And for you guys, if you don't have contact cement, then use what works. So this is just 3-in-1 beacon glue. And I'm gonna give that a little time to set. And then I'm also going to place the one up here with glue, because I'll stitch around this too. So there are other things that you can use. You can use heat and bond. Obviously for leather, I think the best option is contact cement. Okay, but I don't have any. I am getting some, so I'll make more, but I wanted to get this on. So you're putting it right up against that little notch, and then we will trim this. So you can see why I put it on my flap and not on this piece. This piece will be trimmed, but it's right up against this notch. Perfect. Okay, so I'm gonna let both of those dry for a few minutes. I marked where my snap is gonna go. So we're gonna sew around our flap and around our stabilizer piece when it's dry. So I'm gonna give it a little bit, about 20 minutes. All right, so this glued pretty well. The fabric, the 3-in-1 beacon glue. So now I'm just gonna stitch around this bottom stabilizer and around my flap, and we'll see how we do. I still would recommend using the, I'm going to pull the threads to this side too, by the way. I would use leather cement. Once I get it, I'll make another one with leather cement. And I imagine if you use leather cement, you don't have to stitch it if you don't want to. But people that are used to working with leather may differ on that. Alright, I'm going to pull these to the inside. Not that it's really that critical, but you know, anything in leather, if you make it look good, the better it is. Okay, so tie these off. And I am using Tech 70 thread. When you do leather, you should probably use Tech 70 or higher, if you have it. Oh my, that looks really good. Okay, now I'm going to stitch around the flap. Same stance, second verse. 1/8 of an inch. And I'll pull those to the inside. I'm just going slow. Can see. Okay. Pull those to the back, tie those off on each side, and then we will trim our flap and put our magnetic snap in. I'm using a rivet magnetic snap. If you're using a prong, then you would have wanted to have done this already. Put your snap in. I think she talks about the prong magnetic snaps in the pattern, so she tells you when to do them. There are advantages to the prong, rivet magnetic snaps. This is probably one of them. Okay. So now I am going to grab my really sharp scissors and I'm going to trim that excess off. And this is in leather. You want to make sure you have your scissors at a 90 degree, that you aren't turning them sideways, because otherwise you'll get an uneven side. I have to kind of remind myself of that, to be quite frank. clean this up just a little with my smaller scissors. You gotta have a really sharp pair of scissors. There, that's better. Okay. Okay, very good. All right. And I am going to just burn real slightly that edge, just to get rid of any little, there really isn't any, there's no fraying, it's just tiny little nubbies. Leather smells really good when it's burnt. Okay. All right, now I am going to put my snap in. And because I'm using a rivet magnetic snap, and I'm going through 2 layers here. Let me find my snaps. You know what? I was going to use silver, so hold on. Okay. So I'm putting the male portion on the top and the female portion on the bottom. And I won't put that bottom snap in until I get it finished. All right. Love it. This isn't to my liking, so I'm going to work on that. All right, so we're going to bring our sides up and put those together. And they should match perfectly. Man, this leather smells so good. So our sides on both sides. And we're going to stitch that together at the seam allowance in the pattern. Not a big seam allowance. And I did decrease my stitch length to about a 4 and a half. Man, I gotta work on my bumper. And because there's raw edge inside, you might want to just work on your little threads now to get rid of any extra threads. Or you can do it after. Okay, let's do this other side. Actually, let me work on thumper here. Hold on. All right, let's see if that helped. I don't think it will, but we'll see. I think it's just the thicker material. Beautiful thing. All right, now we're going to do our bottoms. Splay that seam open. This leather smells good. If you've not worked with leather before, it's a beautiful thing. It smells so good. All right, let's same stitch, same seam allowance. Okay, we are going to do a second seam there. And then I'm going to even up that seam. Okay, we'll repeat that on this side. I stabbed myself. No bleeding. All right, let's do our second row. Perfect. Then we're ready to turn it out. So we're almost done. It's a beautiful thing. Even that up just a little so it looks nice on the inside. Okay. All right, let's try it right side out. The leather compared to the vinyl, there's no comparison. getting what she suggests as far as the thickness of your leather makes a huge difference. Now, I just happen to have some, so. It smells so good. Oh my. All right, let's mark for our snap. And I did make, for this, because this only one layer, I did make a leather grommet or washer for this. All right, let me grab my hole punch. I dropped that. So put my magnetic snap on this side, put my little washer in here, leather washer, and I just did it out of a scrap of the leather. There we go. You can't even see it. All right, let me go press that. All right, guys, here it is. The sunset leather handbag. This is what we just finished and made. A nice, good sized pocket. I didn't test it. I imagine that most of the cell phones today would fit in there. And then on the inside, it's just open with a little reinforced bottom. I mean, very cute. So, thanks for watching. Be sure to click like, subscribe, and comment, and go get the pattern. It's a new pattern from Purses by Holly. Thanks, Holly. Bye-bye.